Today we're making chicken korma, a South Indian coconut mild curry dish that is a great introduction for people who may not have tried Indian food before. I love this recipe with naan or rice, and we're going to go over the ingredients and I'll show you how to make it. Here are the ingredients. 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. Kashmiri chili powder is a colorful but mild chili powder. If you're using regular cayenne pepper, you'll need a little less quantity. 1 teaspoon of fennel powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt, or to taste. I like more salt in my food, so you may want to taste first before adding more. 5 cardamom pods, 2 small bay leaves or 1 large, 1 cinnamon stick that's about 2 inches long, 5 whole cloves, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper powder, and 1 tablespoon of coriander powder. 2.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs cut into 1.5-inch pieces, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil or ghee, 2.5 cups of chopped onions, 1 tablespoon of minced ginger, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 1/4 cups of coconut milk. I like to use the brands Chowco or Arroy D. A good quality coconut milk goes a long way. Half a cup of low sodium chicken broth or water, 2 tablespoons of cashew butter, and you can also just take raw cashews and blend them to a fine paste with some water in a blender, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I like to garnish with a 1/4 cup of cilantro, which I didn't take a photograph of. Heat the Instant Pot in saute mode, and once it's heated up, add the oil or the ghee. If you use ghee, it gives it a richer flavor. Add the whole spices, the cardamom, bay leaves, whole cloves, cinnamon stick, and stir together briefly for about 15 seconds. You don't want these whole spices to burn. Add the chopped onion, garlic, ginger, and stir these ingredients together until the onions are a light golden brown color, and this will take maybe about 5 minutes. If you find that the onions are sticking to the bottom and browning too quickly, you can deglaze with a couple of tablespoons of broth or water. Add the tomato paste, and if you need to, add a tablespoon or 2 of water to make sure it doesn't get stuck on the bottom of the Instant Pot. You don't want any burning because that'll just change the flavor of the curry. At this point, we're going to press cancel, and the spices are going to cook in the residual heat. We don't want them to burn. Add the coriander, cumin, Kashmiri chili powder, fennel, turmeric, black pepper, salt, and stir all the spices together just briefly. And if you need to, deglaze with a little bit of broth or water if the ingredients get stuck on the bottom. And this is to avoid the burn message later on when we pressure cook. Now we're going to add the chicken to the spices and stir the chicken up to coat the chicken with all the spices. At this point, the Instant Pot is not in saute mode, and so you shouldn't have any issues with the chicken sticking to the bottom, but if you need to, go ahead and deglaze. Once the chicken pieces are completely coated, add the chicken broth or water, whichever you're using, and add 1 cup of the coconut milk and stir until everything's combined. Close the lid and pressure cook the chicken korma on high pressure for 4 minutes. And we're going to do a 15-minute natural pressure release, which means once the cooking is done, we're going to wait for 15 minutes and then release any remaining pressure. Once the pressure has been released, you can open the Instant Pot. Watch out for the steam. And then in order to thicken the curry, this is not necessary, but I like to use either blended cashews or cashew butter to thicken the curry. Either cashews blended with a little water or cashew butter. You could also just let it be. You don't have to thicken the curry. It has quite a bit of gravy, and if you like it that way, that's fine. And another option is to just reduce the liquid in saute mode. We're going to add a little bit more coconut milk, so whatever we had left over, which is a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, and that just adds a little more creaminess to the curry. I like to serve this curry over rice or with naan, and also I like to garnish it with some cilantro. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoy the recipe.